Welcome everyone to this new episode of the Privacy Rules Privacy Espresso series, a series where we interview and discuss together with privacy, data protection, cybersecurity experts about the latest in the technology world. Today I'm joined by Volker Wodianka from Wodianka Legal in Germany. Volker, thanks a lot for being with us today.
Thanks, Alessandro, for having me here.
And Volker is a Privacy Rules member, of course, and is our expert from Germany. And he has a very great passion for not just privacy, but also AI and technologies. And I'm very pleased to have him together with us today. We were just discussing about this topic, that is AI, artificial intelligence. And we are going to delve a bit more into which is the regulatory framework that we have right now, in particular in the EU, which are the risks, but also the capabilities of using such type of tools and, how to do that properly. So that's the topic of today. So Volker, I think that the best way to start would be, let's start with an overview on what's the regulatory situation that we have, in particular at the EU level.
Yes. No, thanks, Alessandro. We just have news on the political side now from the EU. The 2nd of February 2024, the so-called Artificial Intelligence Act, AI Act, has been approved by the EU member states, which means, of course, there's an agreement still. The approval of the Council and the EU Parliament we're still waiting for, but this is to be expected soon.
Perfect, Volker. Sorry, my microphone was on mute. And can you also provide us a little overview on, are there other laws we should be aware of that can be related still to AI? Because, we often focus just on one, but there is a lot moving on this this topic. So probably it's also good to let people know that there are many different things you should be aware of whenever you work with or use artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I think there are different perspectives in terms of why we should be aware of. Me as a lawyer, as an advisor in the world of data law and data privacy, of course, I'm actually also thinking, what about our professional services in the future? How to develop those, and that's why I actually also try and develop own GPT solutions for our clients, which is super interesting, and I can only recommend to get in touch with these technologies. On the other hand, what is coming from the regulation point of view? As you know, EU regulations tend to be published at a certain day, so we are waiting for the day of publication in the official journal, and then we usually have 24 months, 2 years, until the regulation comes into force. So from the regulation point of view, or when you think about your own services or your own do's and don'ts, there's usually still a little bit of time. Nevertheless, in this case, we have aspects of so-called forbidden practices, bans, and also general requirements to follow. So there might be practices that are forbidden, and those where you have an information duty, others where they are so-called high-risk processes that need a risk assessment. So that could be enforced even earlier. So it's not about waiting and sitting 2 years' time until it's published, but I can only recommend to go into the law as early as possible, read it, understand it, also see the exemptions, which are actually those of science. Science should not be, let's say, limited by the AI Act, which is, I think, super important. I have clients that have amazing or see amazing potential in the medical sector, for instance, and science and AI. So that should be possible. But yeah, it's necessary to go into the regulations and understand more or less 3 categories: banned practices, those with high risk, which need a risk assessment, so meaning documentation. That's something we well know from GDPR. requirements, and then those of transparency and information, which of course is also for data privacy professionals important to be able to, for instance, make a PIA, a DPIA risk assessment when a tool has AI built in.
Yeah. I think that's a very good tip for anyone that is listening to us in particular, because whenever we speak about technologies, we're speaking about something that is evolving very fast. So at the same time, to be compliant with it, we should always try to keep it as much as possible with it, of course, by relying on lawyers that work specifically in the sector, that can be, up to date and aware of the latest news, but even sometimes by using tools like artificial intelligence. That brings me to the next topic, because as we were also discussing before, those tools can be very useful, and everyone should be using it and want to use it. But on the other side, there are some risks related to that. So I would just like to delve a bit more to then move to the last point that we'll see, where we will see how to do that. But which are, in your view, the possibilities and risks related to this?
Yeah. First of all, I think when you look at the market as of today, there are the hyperscalers that we know. It's ChatGPT as such as a company, or OpenAI. We have services from Microsoft, Copilot, and we have Google with Bard, and I think it's just renamed with Gemini or Gemini. What you see there is, from the privacy point of view, of course, free services, built-in services in the existing tools, and then always, of course, the question: can I use it with personal data? And going up the plans with the subscriptions in the more professional world, these kind of providers also provide DPAs. But this is not the case in the free versions, but only in the business versions. So I can only recommend to have a look at, of course, the business versions, where you can then sign DPAs with the providers. That's what we see. ChatGPT as such had the 3.5 free version out. It's possible again to subscribe for the Plus version, where you can use ChatGPT 4. And you can also train already your machine, by also uploading your documents, which is really nice to see that then when you put a prompt, it refers to actually your information as well that you uploaded into the platform. So, but the topic of personal data, of course, is special, and we need also, of course, always see the compliance point of view of that. Talk about daily life and compliance. I just said a case which was interesting in this context of AI. While we are participants in meetings like Teams, Google Meet, whatever, a client had the case that one participant had an AI tool activated without even knowing it. And this tool, it's called, and it's interesting. So it's worth to have a look, but it's also very, very, very mighty. Read AI. It makes a transcript, but not only a transcript of the whole meeting, but it creates a summary. It reads and summarizes the questions that have been asked in the meeting, and gives a full report after the meeting. And of course, you might have confidential calls. You might have calls with people that you don't know, participants that have AI on. So interesting and worth to mention, in meetings. Maybe you can also see that there is a participant that you don't know. So have a look and also see the risk side of AI. That was very interesting.
Yeah, and this is and thanks a lot for this example. That brings me to my last question and last part. That is the more practical one. Of course, as we said since the beginning, there is this is the future. So we cannot avoid using it, and it's absolutely something that we should look with favor. But of course, everything needs to be done in the proper way, let's say, in particular when we deal with certain type of data, or when there is the risk of sharing very sensitive data, not just personal, but also for a company, as the case you were mentioning. But I can see how dangerous it can be to distribute a transcript of a relevant discussion of medium to big company where sensitive data or information were shared. So of course everything needs to be in the right way. So in this regard, I heard you mentioning already about doing risk assessment, but I think that one of the key elements that is too often not considered into AI is privacy by design, or design in general, not just for privacy. So having a real understanding of what we are going to use and how. So can you provide us with some practical tips and indication on, what should business do to implement those type of tools?
First of all, I think it's important to give a message to your teams and say we are interested in that. We look deeper into AI functionalities and possibilities to provide better services and products in the future for internal or external use. So people don't try to test and do things because they might think the company doesn't care. So I think that's the first important message, and that you might set up trainings, workshops, things where the team can see that there's an interest for AI, because, as you say, it's not going to go away. It will be part of our business. And then, of course, give guidance, define do's and don'ts. As I said, in these online meetings, that's of course a don't, or let's talk about it before, whether you want to have a transcript and who has to contract with this third-party application. Is there a DPA in place? Personal data, another topic. As long as you don't have professional versions of these apps, you might not even have the possibility to use a DPA. And without a DPA, we all know we cannot really make data processing based on Article 28. So that's not possible. And I think nevertheless, it's not really a super new topic in terms of we used translation tools in the past. So talking about what people can use, putting in also IP relevant or confidential information into platforms that the company or people don't know whether the company has a contract with, should be highlighted, but also solutions should be provided. So raising awareness and working on the compliance part to give people the tools that they would expect also, that the company has.
Yeah, so let's do training and raising awareness and compliance with a forward-looking approach, meaning being aware that there are those possibilities, and I think that once implemented, those type of tools and services can really help. We have met, also in our PrivacyEspresso in the past, some like curated AI that can be really useful for legal research in particular. You've been mentioning another one that was very, you mentioned even about the medical AI solution, in the medical sector, AI can really help in go faster and being, quick in provide certain response that can be even, really important for people, healthcare and life. So that's the future. Let's approach it in the right way. And thanks a lot, Volker, for helping us doing so and giving us this brief overview on it. It was a pleasure being with you today. So thanks once more to you and to all our listeners for being with us with this PrivacyEspresso. I look forward to meet you, Volker, again very soon, and all our listeners with the next PrivacyEspresso episode. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Alessandro. Bye.